Have you ever been so overwhelmed by grief or stress that you actually forgot to eat? I don't mean missing lunch because you were busy. I mean the physical act of eating bread felt like chewing on ashes.
That is a visceral image, but yes, I think most people have hit that wall where emotional distress starts rewriting your biology. Your bones ache, your skin feels tight, and you feel like a ghost in your own life.
Exactly. We're diving into a collection of ancient poetry today that charts that exact sensation. But then it does something wild. It takes us from that hospital bed isolation all the way to the edges of the cosmos. It's a three-part journey from total despair to absolute wonder.
It really is a trilogy of the human spirit. We're looking at three specific movements here. The first one is what I call the crisis of fragility. It's a text written by someone who calls himself afflicted, and he isn't sugarcoating it. He describes himself as an owl in the ruins or a sparrow sitting alone on a roof.
That sparrow on the roof image really stuck with me. It's such a perfect metaphor for insomnia and loneliness. You're awake while the world sleeps, just watching your life vanish like smoke.
And that's the core tension in the first part. The writer is obsessed with time. He feels his life is a long shadow. Right before the sun sets when the shadow stretches out and then disappears. He's terrified of being cut off in the middle of his prime. But then he juxtaposes his fading life with this concept of an eternal, unchangeable creator.
It feels like a collision, doesn't it? My bones are burning, but you, the Creator, remain forever. It's almost like he's jealous of God's permanence.
Or maybe he's anchoring himself to it, because right after that heavy despair, the script flips. We move into the second movement, which is arguably one of the most famous pieces of self-talk in history.
You mean the Bless the Lord, O my soul section?
Exactly. Notice the shift. In the first part, he's talking to God about his pain. Now he's talking to himself. He's commanding his own psyche to wake up and remember the good data.
It's like a cognitive reframe. He starts listing benefits, forgiveness, healing, redemption. But the part that hit me was the specific description of how this creator views us. It didn't feel like a judge. It felt like a parent.
That is the critical insight. The text uses this incredible analogy of a father having compassion on his children. Why? Because he knows our frame. He remembers that we are dust.
That's surprisingly comforting. It's not saying do better. It's saying, I know you're fragile.
Precisely. It's lowering the bar of expectation. The text says this creator removes our failures as far as the east is from the west. That's an infinite distance. If you travel north, eventually you're going south. But if you travel east, you never start going west. It's a total deletion of the record.
So we go from the sparrow alone on the roof to this child being held. But then, the third movement. This is where the camera zooms out, right? It felt like I was watching a high-budget nature documentary.
Oh, absolutely. This is the cosmic ecosystem phase. If the first part was internal pain and the second was relational healing, this third part is external majesty. The writer looks at the physical world, light wrapping the earth like a cloak, clouds acting as chariots, the water cycle feeding the wild donkeys.
I loved the detail about the wine and oil. It wasn't just about survival. It was about joy. Wine to make the heart glad, oil to make the face shine. It acknowledges that life isn't just about not dying. It's about flourishing.
And it's inclusive. It mentions lions seeking their food from God, birds singing in the branches, and even the Leviathan, this massive sea monster, playing in the ocean.
That part made me laugh. The idea that a terrifying sea monster was created just to play in the water. It suggests the universe isn't a machine, it's a playground.
It implies that the creator enjoys the creation for its own sake. The monster that isn't useful to humans, but it's valuable to the architect. It paints a picture of a world that is teeming with life, all waiting with open mouths for food, and the creator opening a hand to satisfy them. It connects the biology of a lion to the theology of a saint.
So, if we step back and look at the whole arc, what are we seeing? We start with a man eating ashes in sorrow, and we end with a man singing while the mountains smoke and the earth trembles.
We are seeing the restoration of perspective. Pain narrows our vision. It makes us stare at our own burning bones. Gratitude widens the lens to see our history. And awe blows the lens wide open to see the whole universe.
It's a reminder that we are small, like dust, but we are part of something massive and intentional.
Exactly. We are dust, yes, but we are dust that is known, fed, and held together by a love that outlasts the stars.
And perhaps that's the cure for the loneliness of the sparrow on the roof. Not just company, but context.
Beautifully put. Context changes everything. Thank you for tuning in again. God bless.